that's why I'm so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight, because he understands the fight that we're up against.
Candace Owens just lit a fire after she claims Erika Kirk, the widow of Charlie Kirk, has been hiding something explosive, something that ties her not just to Charlie's death but to Vice President JD Vance himself. But before we get into the receipts, we need to go back to where it all started, because this scandal didn't appear out of thin air. It began the moment Erika Kirk stepped out from behind her husband's legacy and into his spotlight. After Charlie's tragic assassination, she took over the movement he built, becoming the new face of TPUSA. At first, people were sympathetic, but that didn't last long. Then came that Turning Point USA event. Erika took the stage in front of thousands to introduce her dear friend, Vice President JD Vance. Her speech started emotional. She talked about Charlie's love for faith and the mission they built together, but halfway through, things got strange. She said this:
"No one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD. Help me welcome to the stage Vice President JD Vance."
And then they hugged. Not just any hug, it was lingering. His hands on her waist, her fingers in his hair, and people slowed the clip down frame by frame, pointing out how intimate it looked. Some said, the only thing that healed faster than Erika Kirk's heart was Donald Trump's ear. Another wrote, Erika Kirk and JD Vance can't hide it any longer. I'm sure Charlie Kirk would be proud she's marrying up. They even put it side by side to all the other hugs she's been giving lately. And here's where it gets dark, because right when people were debating if the hug was inappropriate, Candace Owens hit post and all hell broke loose.
His quote-unquote closest friends, his closest political allies, the White House, they all seemed kind of ready to move on so much faster than I was.
She accused Erika of having an affair with TPUSA's own chief of staff, Michael McCoy, the same man who was standing next to Charlie when he was killed. When the CCTV footage from Utah Valley University dropped, the internet lost it. The video showed Charlie giving his speech with McCoy only a few feet away, phone in hand, typing fast. The moment the gunshot went off, McCoy didn't duck or check on Charlie. He bolted. At first, people brushed it off, but then Candace pointed out the timing. According to an interview Erika gave to the New York Times, McCoy called her screaming he's been shot at 11:23 a.m. in Phoenix, an hour before the shooting happened in Utah at 12:23 p.m. That's when everything flipped. Because if that timeline is accurate, how did McCoy know what was about to happen before it even happened? And then Candace went live and said what half the internet was already thinking.
Influencers will invoke Erika as the reason that it's not appropriate to ask questions. It's just not appropriate while Erika is still mourning for you guys to ask any questions. And I'm just going to come back at you with some common sense. What sort of widow wouldn't want people to investigate the assassination of their husband?
And she didn't stop there. She dragged TPUSA too.
And I don't know how the executives over at Turning Point USA sleep at night.
Erika eventually responded with a poetic-sounding post about grief not being linear, writing, I carry my Charlie in every breath, in every ache, and in every quiet act of day-to-day living as I attempt to relearn what that rhythm will be. She didn't name Candace, but the shade was crystal clear. So when you line it all up, the picture starts looking less like grief and more like guilt. Candace says Charlie wasn't just silenced by a stranger, he was betrayed by the people sitting closest to him. And just when you think it can't get crazier, it does, because what Candace found next might expose the real reason JD Vance and Erika have been inseparable behind the scenes. Jaguar Wright is once again coming for 50 Cent, and this time it's with receipts. Jaguar claims there's actual footage of 50 Cent getting down and busy with none other than Soulja Boy. But is Jaguar just stirring the pot? Or is 50 Cent really engaging in Diddy activities behind the scenes?
I know you're tight, Curtis. You gonna fall for one of my real soon. See if you figure out which one.
All right, so Jaguar is out here claiming she has proof that 50 Cent plays for the other team, and then she took it a step further and said 50 and Soulja Boy used to be an item back in the day.
You did a PSA on Curtis about him and Soulja Boy.
Yeah.
On the cover of, you know, you kind of poking the bear there.
I'm not poking a bear. I'm saying that he's a stone.
And check this out. Jaguar refused to say allegedly and claimed she personally knows 2 more men that 50 supposedly hooked up with.
And I've spoken to 2 men he's lived in sales with, who you had sex with. Curtis! No, I'm not saying allegedly. And you know it.
I'm gonna do my Pierce Morgan and say he's not here to defend himself. So
no, and neither is his asshole.
Now listen, if you thought this came out of nowhere, let's rewind to 2010 because the internet doesn't forget anything. As soon as that clip of Jaguar started making the rounds online, fans started pulling receipts on 50 Cent and Soulja Boy, including that old XXL magazine cover.
The first time we met, you came out office, you know?
The first time that we met was in BT.
Yeah, backstage.
I was getting a haircut. When was that? 106 Park. I think 106
And I came in the dressing room.
Yep, that was the first time.
Yeah, I ran back there because, like, I was always excited about the idea of Soulja Boy.
Back then, people kind of side-eyed it, but nobody really said much. At the end of the day, it was just another hip-hop photo shoot. But then 50 Cent's ex Vivica Fox decided to stir the pot and hinted that 50 might be on the DL.
What were your thoughts when 50 Cent blamed the second season ratings dip on gay stuff?
First of all, you know, the pot calling the kettle black is all I'm saying.
Ooh. Pot calling the kettle black. Huh.
Whoa. That was some tea.
You're not insinuating that
he's
50
gay?
Cent is...
And then Vivica brought up that XXL magazine cover and said she felt a certain vibe seeing those photos of 50 Cent hugging Soulja Boy.
Just never forget there was a vibe cover with him and Soulja Boy that made me kind of go,
But hold up, it gets messier. Fans have now dug up even more receipts, including this old article from 2016 about 50 Cent visiting Voyeur, a popular LGBTQ nightclub in Philadelphia's Gayborhood. But the craziest part is that if you now check the recent comments on that BTS video of 50 Cent and Soulja Boy shooting that XXL cover, a lot of people are saying something looks off. And some are even comparing it to that infamous video of Justin Bieber spending 48 hours with Diddy. One fan commented, "Bro, 50 talking to Soulja reminds me of that viral, sickening video of Diddy and Justin when he was a kid." And someone else added, "The industry's wicked. Open your eyes." They all get turned out. Now, does this mean Jaguar Wright is telling the 100% truth about 50 Cent? Well, she's yet to provide proof for her claims, and she also hasn't revealed who those 2 men are who allegedly lived with 50. And of course, this isn't even the first time Jaguar's dropped wild accusations about industry men. She's been going after Diddy, Jay-Z, Common, you name it.
Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately: Sean Carter.
So while Jaguar's stories always sound explosive, the receipts don't always show up. And that's why people are split right now. Half the internet's convinced that she's exposing the truth, and the other half's saying, here she goes again. And honestly, it could be both. The music industry is full of secrets, power plays, and manipulation. There are a lot of stories about artists doing whatever they gotta do to stay on top. But it's also true that Jaguar knows how to get people talking. Every time her name trends, she's dragging somebody new, and she knows we'll tune in. At the end of the day, until Jaguar drops that footage of 50 Cent she claims she has, this stays in the rumor zone. But one thing's for sure, the industry's got more skeletons in the closet than anyone can imagine, and at this point, there's nothing much that would truly shock us.